Okay, so I got cut off in the last video, but I was solving for y. So I just did y over 12, and then I have to make sure in my second fraction that it matches up. So since y is this side, I'm gonna need 6 on top. And then since 12 is that bottom blue, I'm gonna use 4. And then once you set up your fractions, you can cross multiply and divide. So cross multiply, we have 12 times 6 equals, oh, I usually do it the other way because I like my letter to be on the other side, but it's okay. I'm going to do 12 times 6, and then I'm going to divide it by 4 to get y by itself. So let's go over here in our calculator and do 12, whoa, not 11, what's happening? 12 times 6, get an answer is 72, and then divide it by 4. So our final answer here is y equals 18. So x was 7 and y was 18. The scale factor for two similar rectangles is 3. So scale factor tells you how much bigger or smaller you're making something. So if the scale factor is 3, that means one of your rectangle is 3 times bigger than the other. That's what the scale factor tells you. If the area of the smaller rectangle is 8 meters squared, what is the area of the larger rectangle? Okay, I'm really visual, so I'm going to go ahead and draw myself 2 rectangles. You do not have to draw these. This just helps me. The area of the small rectangle is 8. And remember, area of a rectangle is length times width. So I might just go ahead and pick values here because I find scale factor is a lot easier to do when you think about the side lengths, because the scale factor changes the side length 3 times bigger. It does not change the area 3 times bigger. So I picked, these were not in the problem, but I picked these because I wanted it to have an area of 8. So I picked 2 and 4. Now for my bigger rectangle, we know that the scale factor is 3. So if I take this side that's 2 and I multiply it by 3 to make it 3 times bigger, that tells me this length is 6. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this one. If my small figure was 4, and I make it 3 times bigger, the new length is going to be 12. And then if I want to find the area, which is length times width, I could do 6 times 12, which is 72. So my answer here, my area of the bigger one would be 72 units squared. Now, if you just took the area of the original and tried to make the area 3 times bigger by doing 8 times 3, notice you don't get the right answer. You can't just multiply the area by 3 because the scale factor tells you how much bigger you're making the sides. So you have to multiply the side lengths by 3. So that's how I did that one. And then here's part 2 of your quiz. So you got to finish and submit part 1, then you can go to part 2. It says, enter your answer and show all the steps that you used to solve this problem in the space provided. Are the ratios 84 over 105 and 64 over 80 proportional? Give 2 different reasons to support your answer. Okay, the word proportional means that when you cross multiply, they'll equal the same thing. Or you could think of them as equivalent fractions. So the first way I'm going to do it is I am going to cross multiply. I'm going to put an equal sign in the middle, and I'm going to cross multiply. So I'm going to do 105 times 64, and I'm going to see if that equals 84 times 80. Oops, that's an 80, not an 8. So let me go to my calculator and do that. So I'm going to type in 105 times 64, and then I'm also going to type in 84 times 80. Oops, I was supposed to say 84, not just 4. So these two are equal. They both equal 6,720. So for my explanation here, it says give 2 different reasons to support your answer. So we would say, yes, they are proportional. I'm going to type this here. I can't spell proportional, P-R-O. proportional. There we go. Oh, geez, and I left off an E. Yes, they are proportional because when we cross multiplied, they were equal. Now that's one way. We cross multiplied and they were equal, but it says give two different reasons to support your answer. So maybe the other way that I would use to support my answer is I would go to my calculator and I would try to reduce each of these fractions. So I'm going to type in 84 divided by 105 first. 84 divided by 105. And then I'm also going to do 64 divided by 80. Notice how, and it doesn't matter if you leave your answers as decimals or if you turn them back into fractions, notice how both of these fractions reduce to the same thing. That means they're equivalent fractions. So that could be your second explanation. They are proportional because when we cross multiplied, they were equal. They are proportional because when we reduced each fraction, they were equal or equivalent. Remember that word equivalent fractions just means the two fractions end up reducing to the same thing. So that would be a full credit thing here. You could show the cross multiplying, you could show the reducing, and then you could write that in your explanation. But these are proportional because when you cross multiply, they're equal, or if you reduce the fractions, they are equal.